with Brite Computers, an account executive here. I also have on the line Peter Root from BMC Software. He is Brite's partner account manager. I'd like to welcome everyone to the Brite and BMC webinar. Today we'll be covering topics surrounding IT service management, asset discovery to service desk. But before we get started here, I'd just like to inform you that questions will be answered at the end of the presentation, but you can submit them at any point using the question box on the GoToWebinar panel. All attendees are on mute at this time. Here at Brite Computers, we strive to be the exclusive trusted voice our clients rely upon for secure, stable, and scalable IT environments. Brite Computers is a strategic partner of BMC. Our partnership with BMC has really blossomed and grown tremendously over the past few years, and we currently maintain an elite partnership with BMC. Here at Brite Computers, we do have a dedicated team of professionals that handle sales and implementation of BMC software. We've actually been able to deliver innovative IT management solutions that have enabled businesses to leverage complex technology into extraordinary performance, ultimately increasing agility and exceeding their expectations.
All right. Well, thanks, Ryan. This is Peter, and I'm Brite's partner manager. And just to kind of take it a step further to give you some context in Brite's role, in the BMC ecosystem, as Ryan said, they're an extremely strategic partner for us. In North America, their elite partnership represents our highest level of invested partnership. They've also been our fastest growing partner over the last 2 years. In addition to that, Justin Smith, who's Brite's COO and president, was chosen to lead our BMC Executive Partner Council this year. So he's integral in helping to shape our partner program and policies. Just to focus on where Brite has put their emphasis around our product portfolio, they focus on several key areas: IT service management, performance and availability, and data center automation. So, and with that, I'd like to introduce Joel Jacks, who's our staff specialist in technical marketing, to help give you an overview on our leading ITSM solutions, Footprint Service Core, and BMC Client Management. Joel? Joel, you're on mute.
Sorry about that. Little computer difficulties here. So I am Joel Jacks, technical marketing, and I cut my teeth on Trackit many years ago, Magic. I've led the deployment of Remedy and other suites in some large organizations. And over the last years, I've been helping a variety of organizations determine their best suites, ITSM suites, and how to deploy those. So when it comes to ITSM, I really appreciate what the other products can do. I'm really excited about what Service Core and BCM, BMC Client Management can do. The flexibility, the opportunities it offers for an organization to be able to reach their goals. So one of the things that I like to ask is, what's the difference between a data center or a desktop? And we can get lots of different ideas, different answers to this. One of the things to think about, though, is not what makes them different, but what makes them the same. So both of them have devices, and we as an IT group, we need to know where they are, what state they're in, such as security, the patches, what applications is there, what hardware, any changes to that. And one of the things that is most important is to ensure that's up to date. One of the things that led me into this is we used to create all of our inventories on our data centers on spreadsheets, and within, as soon as they were written, almost they were out of date. So going to an application such as BCM, where it's a full life cycle approach, offered us, the ability to discover what we had, to to be able to look at the OS and application, patch management, software licensing, also, the policy compliance. One thing that's really big nowadays is power management. How can we make sure that everything is taking the power that it needs, not taking too much? Financial asset management, what's it costing us? Do we have a printer out there that we're fixing so much and it costs us more a year to maintain with service calls than it is to purchase a new one? And then we have different things such as remote management, being able to connect to our clients and be able to help them resolve issues without having to go into another application or to download a different piece of software, as well as Atrium CMDB integration, which is a huge benefit. So one of the things that BCM focuses on is the ability around scalability. So we have an intelligent agent, can adapt to our existing networks. We also have focused on simplicity, make this an easy-to-use application, as well as security. So let's take a look at the application. So here I am in the BMC Client Management in an actual front-end interface here. BCM is designed for not the first and second level users, but it is for our management and our administrative users. And these are the folks who want to be able to manage their devices with their environments. Again, like I said, patching, reporting on application usage, creating and maintaining an app store, discovering what's in the environment, configuring all assets. And one of the things that we wanted to do is make sure that as an IT manager or an administrator, you have access to all that information in one console. And as you can see, on the left-hand side, we have the categories, which we can go in and define. Over here on the right is the home screen. So in this upper corner here, you can see we have this rotating wheel of these different charts and graphs you can click on. You can make them bigger to take a look at, what are we talking about here? How many devices do I have in my environment? Are they patched? Are we finding everything? How about our licenses? So this is all within that first screen. We also have right under this our instant expert. I've got folks that have been in this product since the beginning who still use this every day, because you'll find that as we start leveraging the power of this, you'll get into certain areas more frequently than others. A lot of our users said, hey, we'd like the common things that we need to do, such as connect to Active Directory, configure email and BMC and client management. We need to be able to have those easy access to us as far as a KVR goes. So that's what we offer here. Then we can also switch to the wizard mode. And this wizard mode gives us, again, the most common steps that we go through when we're administering this product, such as creating packages, creating reports, all these different things. They're right here, and they truly are a wizard that will take us through and take us through step by step. So operational role, very easy to use, very simple. Again, that one of our three tiers that we talked about. So over here, we advise everybody when you get it to drive from the left, which just really means to expand what we're looking at over here on the left side, and then the right side will populate in the window. Another thing that I'd like to point out now too is I don't have a client installed on this box. This box is actually running separately, and this is just a Java console that is open for me. So I don't have to worry about maintaining clients or updating those. And it's available to anyone who can have access to it, of course, who can log in anywhere on the network. So I could be, in the vice president's office, and he could ask me about a report. I could turn his computer around, log in, give him that report right there, rather than having to go back to my machine and log it in. So here in global settings, this is the heart of the BCM product. This is where everything gets taken care of as far as how we're going to connect into Active Directory. Active Directory is extremely important. As you're aware, we're able to take that information and populate people into device groups or into groups and pull people in and out without having to have an administrator come back into this product and say, okay, this guy moved from one department to the other. So one of the people that I'd like to focus on is Rob, and I'll use him throughout this demonstration. Rob is a defector. He used to work in IT and decided to go over into sales. So one of the things that is going to happen then is he's going to get different applications that he's going to use, as well as different capabilities. Well, if we've set him up in a group within Active Directory and then link that here in this administrative groups over here or into one of the other user groups, we'll be able to quickly, once he goes from that one group to the other, we don't have to go visit his machine and take any applications out or change any of his permissions within the BCM product through operational rules. It will automatically do that for us. This can also bring in different information for us as well, such as, maybe we have some switches or a new center or a new office that comes online. We can get that information in a lot quicker so that our initial discovery can find it, and then we can roll out our agent to that. We do have our asset discovery here, which provides us the ability to initially see what's going on, as well as configuring our scanners. Now, the power that BCM also offers is the ability to go beyond just the office or the data center, but to go to your enterprise globally. And in the use case, I'll talk about one of our global customers that uses this product. When you look at what we can do is that we can basically determine or define in our groups exactly what we're looking for and what defines that person or that group as a specific group with attributes that we want to manage and maintain. Now, wherever they're at, as long as they're connected on the internet, they'll be able to talk back to us. They'll be able to give us their configurations, their application monitoring, their, the usage, all that information as long as they're connected to the internet. And we have the ability and the flexibility then to push back and to do things like remote control. For instance, this Mac. I'm nowhere near our Houston office, but we do have Service Core and BCM loaded on this. So if I were to call up with an issue right now, even though I'm in Illinois, they could easily remote in and take control, apply patches, do different things to this Mac for me. And this would happen no matter where I'm at, as long as I have internet connection. Our device topology gives you the flexibility to see what's here in my group, what's here within that's being managed and maintained. So we have different servers, different laptops, and each one of those we can drill down into and look at different information that relates to that specific item. And we can see what's connected to it. We have what we call relays. So if this is a relay, what does it talk to down below? So not every relay makes it so that we don't have to have everything running from a master. That if we have remote offices, that our relay will act as that go-between. We're not eating up all that bandwidth. We're not cutting down what we might have a 1 meg pipe back back to the office. We're able to leverage the relay to do a lot of that work for us and get that information through. But through this topology, we're able to see that. And here's the overall topology that we're looking at. And we have different views here that we can do. We have the client management topology. We have a network topology as well as the connectivity topology. Connectivity, of course, comes in really handy for change management. If you want to see what's connected, to this IRIS-2, if there's anything that it might be upstream or downstream that could affect it as we apply a change to it. Here are our device groups is where we're able to define the different attributes which would combine our devices together. So I mentioned Rob as an administrator. As Rob moves from the IT department to the sales department, that attribute through Active Directory will change, and then he'll move, whether it be from one of our other device groups, client devices, if we had it set up, he could move then from that device group to the new to the sales device group and be maintained and managed that way. And you can create, based off of any attribute, what you want as far as your device group. A lot of customers will have their different offices, and they'll have an attribute, their subnet that they're on be the attribute that defines them as an office. And leveraging that, we can do reports off of that. We can do a lot of different information based off of these different device groups that we have. And data center, if you have data centers and you could have a device group within the data center, then you'd have all your Unix boxes and Linux boxes and Windows boxes, and you could have the different Windows Server boxes with that, just to give you an idea of the different ways you can leverage the different device groups. User groups the same way. What constitutes this user group that I'm talking about? Are they a administrator? Are they sales? Are they tech support? Are they help desk? Are they HR? You can define those user groups, so those things will get managed and maintained as well. Another powerful tool here is our OS deployment. So we have the ability to deploy these OSs. This is great for a data center and for an office. You have the bare bones machine, you lay it there. We can now deploy the OS, whatever OS you want to do on that, without having to have somebody sit down there with Ghost or with one of the other deployment tools. This will do it for us. Packages. So here's where we can create our different packages, our software packages. Is it going to be Adobe Acrobat? Is it Office? Are there different flavors of Office that we give out? Do some people get PowerPoint and others not? And some get Excel and others not. You can create those packages there. And again, based off of your user group and or their device group, you can determine what they'll get on their computer. And we can also write then, we'll here in a minute to the operational role. That operational role can take it back. We can say, if they move from HR to engineering, that the HR application automatically gets removed. Operational roles, this is the other heart, I guess, as a work to the BCM product. This is our ability to be able to create custom rules. We can leverage the out-of-the-box rules. But this is how we are able to set up and define quite literally almost anything you can imagine that you would have a process or you could look at it as a workflow around. As long as we have that information within there, we can create that operational role. For instance, I just created an operational role for a group that wanted to see all of their monitors that were less than 17 inches and then create a rule that would send an email to those users or create a report that we could tell them and coordinate with users, hey, we're going to be upgrading your monitors. Patch management, as you know, there's patches that come out all the time. So we have a detection engine here, which we can detect new patches, as well as what groups we want to apply those patches against, as well as creating those jobs and creating that deployment. When do we want those patches to get applied? How do we want them to get applied? Compliance management, so of course we do have the different compliance groups. You have ISO, you have PCI, HIPAA. All of those have different compliance parts to that. So we can leverage that. We can make sure that this product or this program is installing is checking for social security numbers or different attributes that we don't want in our system. PCI, is there 16-digit numbers being saved in Notepad? We can leverage, we can look at, we can notify, and we can alert against. Application management is becoming a much more used product because we're able to leverage not only what can you install through our packages, which we can deploy through what we call My Apps, which would be kind of like a catalog for front-end store where they can take a look at, as well as how to what could they install on their own? So let's take Internet Explorer, for example. Let's say our whole department, we only want to be on Firefox. So we can actually have a rule here that says this software is not allowed, and we won't let them install it. Or if we already have it installed, we can actually prohibit it out. So every time they go to open it, it'll close down, it'll pop them up a window that says, hey, this is not allowed. We can also prohibit during certain hours. So say you have iTunes, and you don't want your people using iTunes during the day, but it's their laptop they can take it home at night. You can say, okay, for between 8 to 5, this application is prohibited. So we have that flexibility. And we also have the ability to say that this is a protected application. You can't uninstall this. We can do that, with McAfee or with, different compliance products that we may have. They can't delete those applications out. Queries, again, as I mentioned before, anything attributes we can find, we can write a query against, we can create groups, user groups. This is where we do that. And our queries we can leverage not only for our device groups, user groups, operational roles, but we can leverage those in our reports. And these reports, we can talk about our financial asset management, application usage. So, somebody says, hey, I need Microsoft project, I use it all the time. You can look at it and say, you use it, twice a year. This person is a new project manager, we can give it to them. And then through the application management and our licensing, we can take that license away from that one individual and give it to the next one. This came really important. IT manager just told me about it, is they had an application that everybody said that had to be there, had to be used, and it was on an older piece of older piece of hardware that was well out of maintenance. So we ran an application usage against that application that it used, and for 6 months we realized that nobody used it. In fact, we were able to see that they were using another product instead. With that information, we were able to go to the user base and say, hey, we need to take this out. They were able to take that server out, take down that application, and through operational roles, remove it from everybody's computer so nobody would try to access an application that was no longer there. So, and of course, we have alerts and events. We can have certain alerts go out to different groups saying, this new device came on, or this device came off. We have a really good flexibility all around that. So let me talk here a little bit about the use case I mentioned before. So we have a customer who has 2,800 users. A fair majority of them are US based, but they are international. So one of the things they had is, for compliance, they had to deploy a piece of software that was going to do some certain compliance rules, as well as some reporting back to headquarters. Due to US and EU regulations and rules, it had to have been done within 30 days. So this global user group, and not all of them were office-based. We had some mobile users that work from home or work from different areas. So we had to be able to guarantee that this would go out. So what we were able to do is, through the abilities of Bcm, we found those devices, we deployed to them. We had a 30-day window, and we were able to do it in 9 days. And it saved over $150,000 in potential fines per day over that 30 days. Not to mention the other losses, because the government, the EU government, had threatened to actually shut this customer down if they didn't have this software on there. So, this is one small slice of what the BCM product can do. Another aspect to that too is they did have one user that wasn't connected in, was in a very remote place in South Africa. They were able to remote to his desktop and pull that software down when he was on the internet over a pretty slow connection. I believe it was a Wi-Fi hotspot that he created. And that was our last holdout. So it would have actually been in about 7 days, but we had to get a hold of this user and get that to him. The other piece It's a companion piece. These two products used to be under the footprints of Umbrella, but we've moved the Bcm product out into its own, and now we have Service Core. But they really do both work very well together. In fact, we still have out-of-the-box integration between Bcm and Service Core. And I like to say that Service Core goes beyond just ticketing, just beyond our user reporting and us having that ticket tracking. It covers incident, it covers change, problem management, knowledge requests, service requests. Not only that, but it is a ticketing system, or this type of system, for not just IT, but as you'll see as we go into it, we can use it for HR. And so HR has tickets. They have workflow that they do, and our facilities. If you look at any part of a business, as an IT manager, you'll be able to say, hey, yeah, they do have workflow that's similar to workflow that we have. Why not let them use the same engine that we do, save our company some money, but also have it in one area that we can report on, that we can have everything there for us. So the product that we're talking about as Service Core has been recently completely redone. Let's skip him for a second. It was written in Perl, previous versions 11.x, but our new version is written all in Java. You don't need to worry about what Java is loaded up. We take care of the Java on the mid-tier, so the customer doesn't have to worry about what's there and what they have to load up. It truly is an independent product again. So I'm going to log in as a customer here, and we'll see what the customer sees. We talked about an app store, a place where they can go and purchase their apps. Well, as an IT department, what we'd like to do is give them that one-stop shop, a place that they can order Microsoft Office or order a new monitor for themselves, report a ticket, or fix it themselves, reducing that calls into our help desk. So here we have the Service Core interface. Up here in the upper left-hand, you see it says User Self-Service. We can customize this in a lot of different ways. We can change colors. We can change that User Self-Service to our logo, to whatever you want. You have that flexibility to do that. So that's the portal itself. The console is anything in white here underneath the gray bar that you see. Within this console, again, we can customize this to the different customer types that we have. Do we have HR customers? Do we have facilities customers? And I'll show you that in a second. Over here, we have the widgets. So these widgets give us the ability to give our users information. Again, we can customize this. This is a custom information here that telling them welcome to the portal. We could show them open tickets. Here down below you can see in the custom HTML, we could link this to our monitoring application, and we can say, we know that the VoIP system is down. No worries, don't need to call us. Well, if VoIP's down, they probably can't call, but you get the idea. They'll be able to see that we know that there's outages, or we know what's going on. So the idea here in the self-service is to provide them a truly self-service area. We decided for this particular group, hey, let's go ahead and give them the ability to look at the knowledge base articles on the console front page, so that they have the ability here to come, for instance, into the hardware, into the monitor, and say, how do I connect my new HDMI monitor? It'll open that article up for them, and you'll see in there that we have the ability to do what you see is what you get, kind of like a Word document, being able to bold, underline text. This one doesn't leverage that one right now, but it is the reason I do show it is written in HTML. So if you already have your knowledge articles in another HTML format, it just shows you how easily you can come in to use that. The other thing that I want them to be able to do is to create an IT ticket from here. So, and through Service Core, we're able to give them what we call native language application or incident reporting. So let's say I'm unable to connect to the V drive. We want to walk them through to give to have them give us as much information as possible without us having to call them back. This helps us on the back end be able to make sure the right group gets it, that we get what we're looking for. So what we've done is designed these drop-downs to be content sensitive. So I'm having an issue accessing a network resource. So specifically, what is that issue? I can't get to my map drive. And what is the problem? I can't get on the network, or it won't open. And then here we're able to set our urgency and our priority without them really knowing, being able to have them answer, does it affect just you? No, it's everyone, my whole department. And can you do your job? Yes, but I'm not as efficient. If I were to change it to printing something, I get a different context menu there. Here's that WYSIWYG editor down here. We have the ability to make a cut and paste. They could do a screenshot and insert this screenshot. They could put tables. It gives our links. We give them a lot of flexibility to be able to report these issues, to feel comfortable that they can utilize this and report their issue. So as I mentioned, we can leverage this for other departments. It's not just IT. So let's take a look at what facilities would see. So as a facilities user, I could use this to manage my work, to see what tickets we have open and what's available for me to work on. So we're accessing the same system, but you'll see when it opens up that I get a completely different look and feel, as well as I don't need to see the IT knowledge base, nor do I need to see the human resource knowledge base. All I'm going to be able to see when I log in is the facilities database and facility-specific information. So facilities work orders, service catalogs. And so here I can see, our tips of the day. What work orders are out there? The service catalog. Let's say I need to order a facility service for somebody. Similar to our KB, we have the walkthrough. We do temperature control, and we can say, if temperature is too cold, and then once this comes up, we'll be able to request that service. It shouldn't go to IT. IT doesn't need to see it, but you can see here in the request service, we click on that. Now it's going to create this, and it's going to go to the facilities department. However, now we have the ability, as a manager, that we can say to our management, this is how many tickets that the system handles, and this is the type of tickets coming through. One of the things that we see a lot with our customers who leverage these different modules, same module but the different portals, is let's say you have a facilities ticket, but somebody calls in and says, or actually it starts as an IT ticket saying, my computer won't boot up. You send a tech out there, you realize, it's not the computer, it's the outlet that they're plugging into. Well, now we can link that ticket to the new ticket that we create in facilities and be able to have that full, that full vision into the work that we're performing as an IT department. We talked about before with BCM. It is more of your administrator and IT manager view. This here is, as far as service core goes, is everybody view. So not only will your users use it, but we'll use the same interface, or the same portal to go in as we'll go as the users of the product. So I'm going to log in, and I'll get a different look and feel of my portal as well, and get different information. So you can see my widgets over here on the left-hand side, as opposed to before they were on the right-hand side. You can make them up the top, at the bottom, or you can have no widgets at all. I can put in here, pie charts. I can put in custom, different custom queries that I've created. But you can see here's where my work is done. I have my assignments, my incidents, my service requests. What are all the incidents and service requests we have? What are our problems? Where are our change requests? And this is different from our previous version where you had to go to different workspaces to see it. So we provide this now all in the one workspace. Our service catalog, our knowledge base. Plus, we give you the ability now to create these new incidents, new service requests right here from within the same window. Let's take a look at creating an incident. So as this form, when the form comes up, you'll see that we out of the box give you quite a lot of information and a lot of things that you can put in there. One of the things to keep in mind too is this here is completely configurable. So if I don't need the contact information for whatever reason, we can take that out. We can take out this link over here as well. But this is one screen. So if I click contact info, it's really taking me to an anchor in the page, detailed info, SLAs. So I'm not having to go from screen to screen. I can put this in the order that we're used to working on a ticket and put in the information. And we can change the names of, for instance, we don't want appointments, but we want something that says attached tickets. We could put that there. So here, I'm going to show you how the first level and second level agents can access the information and the power of BCM. So let's go back to Rob. He is now unable to boot his PC. He called this in instead of doing one on his own, but that's okay. We're utilizing Active Directory here to find him. He'll come up here in a second. And one of the things it's doing now is it just pinged BCM and said, all right, look up this louder and see what he's logged into. What has he got into? Because most of the time, what people are going to call us about is something that they've recently logged into or are currently logged into. And this assets from Asset Core, the more that's in there, will be more things that he's logged into. So of course, the administrator might have a lot more, but your standard user would be able to quickly tell you, well, which one are you calling about? Are you calling about your laptop or your workstation? Well, I'm calling about my laptop. So we can hit select on that. What it's going to do now is within this ticket, it's going to populate that information in for me as one of my assets. Now I can perform certain actions against it. So we talked about that remote control. Now if somebody was there at that computer right now, I could hit remote control. They could say yes, we could go in there and remote control it. But let's go ahead and just take a look at the processes. And this will show us the currently running processes that are on that client right now. And not only can we look at processes, we can look at the file system, we can look at your registry. If there's something wrong with the registry, we could fix that. If, a bunch of different things. So here's the processes that are running. Hey, this VMware upgrade, that's probably what's killing your system. I could terminate it. Or if I had a process that we wanted to run that's a cleanup process, we could run that now too. We have that capability. Great thing about it is you see I didn't have to open up a new window. I didn't have to go to a new product. It's all within here, within the Service Core application. And not only that, but that information, the things that I do to his computer are going to be tracked for me. So I'm not going to have to retype that in when I'm done or try and remember what's going on. That information will automatically be there for me. One of the great things that we can do here is we can either link to, so we can link to an existing CI, an existing ticket, or existing problem, or from right here we could create an existing ticket, or create a new ticket, create a new problem, as well as being able to show the impact analysis. Now I'll click on this. It's not going to give us that much information because it is just a desktop. But if I had the server in here and I put in impact analysis, much like you saw in BCM, where we were able to show you that topology, it will be able to show us that here too. Which is another added benefit of not having to go from one product to the other to run that impact analysis. We can say, hey, if this PC is down, maybe he's hosting something on here that might be affecting other people. We can be proactive and contact the other groups and say, hey, here's what we see going on. Here's the different things. So I can see these different areas here, and I'm going to show you. So again, we have just a lot of flexibility. One of the other things within an incident too, just to show you real quick, is we can leverage templates. So if you have a common issue with common information that needs to go in there, we can provide, you can create templates which will automatically fill out and populate information that you want in there. With this new rewrite, we really focus on the administration, making the administration similar to your service desk portion where everything is in the one place. So as IT manager, it's probably not as important as administrator, but over here in user management, we can set this up with Active Directory. Like I said, we can pull in people automatically. We can change their roles. We have different roles here. We can change their roles. They can become manager one day and a VIP the next day. We don't have to go back in the system and change that every time. Our portal management, that's where we can go in and configure and customize our portals to however we want them to look, as well as our consoles. What do we want the consoles to say? What do we want them to present? All of our systems management is here in one area. We can set up our email. How do we want our emails to come in? Do we want them to be able to respond to an email and, with a change request, can they do an approval that way? Can they just respond yes to the email? We can set up a report scheduler, so our report scheduler can run every, once a day, giving me a report. If it's a blank report, it won't send me anything, or we can set it up to go once a week. So those people who don't need to be in the product, some certain managers, but want to see certain information, we can set those reports to be sent to them so they can see what they want to see and get information. We'll also show you here in a minute, we can also give them a dashboard too, so they're not having to go in the system to do that. So let's go ahead. I told you we look at one of the forms real quick. So let's look at the service desk form and see how easy it is to maintain or to manage those. So I'm going to go in the incident form. And when this opens up, you'll see that we have 3 different selections we can do. We can do the agent mobile, the agent web, and the customer web. So you saw earlier, my customer incident form had those drop-down questions. That's where I would configure that in customer web. The agent web, and yes, we do have a mobile. I'll show that here at the end, the interface with that and how that works. But you'd want the mobile to look a little bit different and act a little bit different. You wouldn't want to squeeze this entire screen onto a mobile device. So here in the agent web, over here in the left-hand side, you see all the fields that I have. And this will be all the fields that I've made available to within the application. I can create new fields here in form controls. I could create a new field. But right now I just want to put the building number in. So we've been asked that now that in the general info, we need to get their building number. So I just drag it, drop it, and now it's there. It does go in a grid format, so it keeps things nice and clean for us. But there's no big, no having to try and find out where it goes. We have the different form controls that we have that we can put into our labels. We can do drop downs, lists, the check boxes. We also, that rich text editor that I showed you, just a bunch of different flexibility there. The one thing that does have to happen here, though, is that we do have to not only save this but publish it so that this goes out to our whole entire group. So just keep in mind that if it will prompt you before that, but anybody who may be logged in and as an administrator and changing something else, we could overwrite their changes. So one of the things we've done to prevent that from happening is we can export these. Once I've saved this, once I'm ready to go, I can export this. I could create this in my dev environment and now pull this into my production environment. Go through the change process, whatever we have set up that way to do that. One of the other things we have that's new to this is what we call the drag and drop workflow. And this drag and drop workflow, we'll show you here in just a minute, gives me the ability to take almost any ticket I want, and with certain defined information, certain defined parameters, I can say handle the ticket this way, or this ticket needs to be done this way. So when I talk about tickets, I'm talking about changes, problems, different things that go on within our system. So for instance, for an incident, I have if we select that an incident, with all high priority incidents need to be handled a certain way, I can define that, and then here in my workflow, you'll see how easy it is to drag a new field over. So we'll do our workflow processes, and I can create a new workflow process, and we'll just look at the one that exists right now. Like I say, for each high one, in order to be, there are certain groups that in order for it to be, the highest priority, it has to go through an approval process. So, we could take, before it even goes to in progress at the request rules, I highlight that, I come over here to approval state, I click on that, I get a window that pops up that says, hey, do you want to connect them to the current state? And it's going to give us two boxes now. We get the approved box and the rejected box. So the rejected box, I could send it to on hold. I can move it around where I want to, but now I can also to send it directly to on hold. But from approved, now we can go back up here to in progress. So now we've just created a state, request state, so before it can go to an approved or something we can work on, it has to go through an approval process. And in here I would now create a business rule, and we can add in a business rule here, quite easy, and add an approver. So it automatically added me in as approver. I could add in a different group, a different role, wherever I wanted to do that here. Take anything out that I want to, add in different states, whatever matches the workflow or whatever workflow we would like to mimic within our product or with our current work structure, we can pretty much leverage here and help you with and do here. All right. The other part I wanted to quickly talk about is our knowledge bases. As you saw, we had the different knowledge bases. We had a facilities, we had a HR, we had our own knowledge base. We can have as many different knowledge bases as we want. The nice thing is if I'm in HR, I'm not going to see any facilities or IT knowledge-based articles when I do a search, and same with facilities. Unless you want that person, you have a super user that, or you have a true help desk that answers most of those questions, you probably want them to see and be able to search on all of those. So I'm going to go back to some slides here on our mobile, just to show you what it looks like. The Firefox mobile emulator isn't working quite as strongly as we'd like, but here I've logged into our system as a user, and I'm able to see any of my tickets that are due today. This is again something we've defined through the through that customized agent form, the mobile agent. And here it truly is just click and drag and click and go over and go to the next. So here the first icon or the first one you see to your left, I clicked on my tickets due today, tickets due this week, and then over here on the right, now it showed me all those that are there. Here's the login interface. It is a website. It is not an app at this point. It is, so there's not anything to worry about maintaining or updating. But once I go in here, I'll be able to see all my change requests, urgent items, things I need to work on. So most of our agents that are field-based aren't sitting in front of a computer all day, but we do have a mobile device, something that they can get to access. I click on it. I can now over here on the right hand, I can look at the ticket number. I can create a ticket here. I can add assignments. I can add work information, different things that are important to me. We also have the ability to chat. So here, and this will chat back to the actual application itself. But I'm able to see anybody who's logged in, and I could click on it and I could chat to them and say, I'm looking for information, I need help, And so this is where they would type it into the mobile, and then when I'm in the actual application itself, the chat window will fly out, and I'll be able to take a look at that. So we'll just show you that chat window real quick. So this is the chat window that flies out. So if anybody else was logged in right now, I'd be able to see who's there and open up a chat, talk with them, and be able to work back and forth through that. I know a lot of places do have, you have your own chat. At this point, this does not integrate with other chat. It is strictly on its own. Okay, so we've shown you some of the really basics and flexibility with this product. One more thing is just to show you the customization. Any window that I'm in, we talked about widgets. If I wanted to add another widget here, another chart, it's simply a matter of dragging that over. And this is in my, my console administration. I give it a chart for my available reports. I go in there, able to determine what I want it to be, name it. We have that ability now to fully customize this and make this a true tool that your service desk can use and to get their job done. Put that information out in front of them that they need to see to get their job done quickly. The last piece here is our reporting. So this is the only time that you'll see it open a new window. As you see, everything was in the one window. I'm not opening up a bunch of different windows. But this will open a new window, and this is our reporting feature. So, and this is built in. For instance, I can see our average age of our tickets. And once this comes up, you'll see that I have not only the ability to select and run a report, but when it comes up, I'll be able to do some modifications to it as well. If I want to pull in another field, it's quite simple to do, just like our workflow. It was truly drag and drop. So here are the settings here. We can give it a name. We are able to tell what record type we're looking at for it. But here's my filters. And then this is showing me my actual report here that's run. I can change the report style as well. So it's doing a side-by-side bar. If I just do a stack bar, it'll change that for me. If I want to put more information in, it's pretty simple to do. We just drag it and drop it in from our different, so it changed my pie chart for me. My open tickets, I can change all tickets. It's really extremely flexible. So some other things to note about this is we do have migration tools. So if you're currently on 11.7, we now have tools that will move you from the old platform to the new one. And it not only can help you move if you want to, but it'll also help you make the decision, do you want to move? Are there certain workflows, things that won't come over that you're used to or you're expecting that won't be there? You saw the mobile support, integrations with BCM, plus it will integrate with other applications through API. And one of the things before I turn it back over is our BMC Communities is huge. It is one of the things I'm most proud about. If you go into our communities, there will be lots of people there to be able to answer your questions. They're using the product itself. Most questions are answered within hours, if even that long, because most people have expressed it. Plus, a lot of these changes in the implementations that you see, these product improvements, come from our users who suggest that. They're able to vote on it and say, this will work, this is great, this is what we want to use, and we vote on it and we put it in the next release. So appreciate your time. With that, I will turn that back over to Brite.
Yes, thank you, Joel. Very good. And I did get a couple of questions. This is Tanya Babcock, Director of Marketing for Brite. One of the questions that came over while you were talking is, can BMC be configured to gather and report on monitors?
Yes. So we can, anything that's connected through WMI or anything that's connected to the network, switches, routers, anything, peripherals, printers, we can be able to quickly identify those through our agent and report on those. So yes.
Great, thank you. Another question is, how does the integration between BCM and SC work?
So it's a native, what we call native integration. But as you saw, we were able to leverage the BCM application as our tech support, as our support desk, to be able to do remote control, to do file system viewing, to do registry. So what that does is whatever I have in my, as an asset, I have the ability now to manage based off of, what kind of asset that is as I work in the help desk. Again, the power is that, not only am I able to manage it, work with it, I can be able to do it within one screen, opening another screen, and then be able to show that, with the work I've done without having to try and remember everything I've done and re-report on that.
Okay, great. The next question is, can you deploy Mac OS images?
I sure can. We can do Mac, we can do Linux, Unix, and of course the Windows platforms.
Okay, and the other question, and this is the last one I have so far, is how many different workspaces can be configured for different user groups in Service Core?
There is no limit. You can create as many different workspaces or consoles as you would like. It becomes a little bit of an administrative headache if you create too many, but we don't limit that down.
Okay, great. I have no other questions that have come through, so thank you so much for your time. I know you're in the middle of a conference right now, so I really appreciate you taking the time out to talk to some of our customers. And definitely we'll be reaching out to some of the attendees today to just do some follow-ups. And thank you again, and you have a good day.
Thank you, and I appreciate Brite for putting this on and letting us speak with your customers today.
Thank you. Bye-bye.